Ladies and gentlemen, it is happening. Hit subscribe right now. If you watch this channel, for a long time, for what, like a year and a half, I've been talking about all of this. And there is now going to be a subpoena. They are now going to go ahead and subpoena Bruce and Nellie Ohr. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. Well, very believable, but breakthrough. Absolute breakthrough. So, I mean, this is all happening at light speed. Yesterday we found out that Julian Assange is going to hopefully testify to the Senate, and then before that, we found out Tony Podesta is under FBI criminal investigation. Criminal investigation because of the Mueller probe, which I wrote about in 2017. This is really unbelievable news, and it's breaking news right now. You have, if you have Bruce and Nellie Ohr subpoena, you then have almost certainly you will have contradictory testimony, because James Comey and Peter Strzok are two people who do not, absolutely do not, under any circumstance, want Bruce and Nellie Ohr to testify. This is enormous. And you talk about, like, Trump is doing this real time, and it's like he's basically grabbing them by the McMaster real time. And they don't even know it. Like, the media and the Democratic Party, just like with yesterday with Balderson, they're like, oh my God, what happened? Oh my God, the Green Party. No, the Green Party. How dare you? How dare you? The Green Party. And it's happening right now. Trump is doing all of this, and they don't even know, like, they don't realize that it's taking place. They don't realize. And to my super chat, thank you so very much. You give me every incentive to rock these live streams. Tony Podesta, he was the lobbyist. He lobbied for Uranium One. The Podesta Group lobbied for Uranium One. Uranium One executives gave money to the Clinton Foundation. President Obama did not veto the uranium sale, which he could have. So when they say that Clinton couldn't veto it, but Trump could, Obama could. So it's all happening, and I'm just sharing the link to this live stream in a couple places. But it's unbelievable. I mean, this is just, it's so unbelievable. It's so crazy. Like, you don't realize that this is all taking place right before our eyes. Right before our eyes. And instead of kind of reporting on this, it's just like one little post in the Hill. Of course, MSNBC, CNN, Washington Post, if they have to, they'll talk about it. Thank you, Suzanne. Thank you. If they have to, they'll talk about it. They really don't want to talk about it. So GOP chairman set to issue Steele Dossier subpoenas. Wow. This is enormous, enormous news. Absolutely enormous news. It's pretty crazy that this is all happening, and it's happening so quickly. Like, people don't understand. Like, People don't understand the magnitude of this. And it's like, okay, so let me just read you this. So GOP chairman set to issue Steele Dossier subpoenas. The Republican chairman of the House Judiciary Committee is readying subpoenas for people connected to the controversial Steele Dossier. Sources tell. Okay, Chairman Bob Goodlatte is preparing subpoenas for Justice Department official Bruce Ohr. I mean, simply ask Bruce Ohr, did Rod Rosenstein know? Because Rod Rosenstein's like, I didn't know anything. It's you know, he only works like one door away from me. His wife Nellie Ohr, and that's the funny thing. Like, if the tables were turned and you had a DOJ official and his wife working for a pro-Trump organization. Fusion GPS is a pro-Clinton organization. They did everything possible for Clinton. Now you could say, well, it's, you know, it's for profit. Yeah. Their role in all of this was to perpetuate a bunch of fear and nonsense. This Red Scare, like, what Democratic strategist thought it was a good idea? Like, they think it's a good idea to like be pseudo Republican, like Republican light on foreign policy. We're the nicer Republicans. We actually want regime change. We're actually tougher than Republicans if you really believe it. See, we're really a lot nicer and more respectful, but we're actually more militant and violent. See, because we're really tough. Also, we'll protect this country. We'll fabricate enemies. We'll claim that, you know what, we were caught with our pants down, but it's not us. It's the people who opened the door. It was actually the people who reported that our pants were down. That's the problem. It's WikiLeaks. It's Julian Assange. It's Bernie Bros. It's Jill Stein. It's Trump. It's the racists. It's the hordes of bigoted people. Nobody sane would vote for Trump. Now we're finding out the subpoenas will go after other current and former FBI and DOJ officials, including Jim Baker, Sally Moyer, what's up, Jonathan Moffat, and George Toscas. So Sally Moyer was along with Kevin Kleinsmith. He was the one with the bear photo. That was a fantastic photo with a giant bear. These people are winners. These are wonderful, amazing people. They're so awesome. All of this is coming crashing down, and it's like, it's almost like I'm getting tired of winning. It's just too much. Every day there's something. Every day there's some like new development. I'm obviously not getting tired of winning, but Justice Departments. So, I mean, what happened in the past like 4 days alone? You have Troy Balderson winning. You have Julian Assange, God bless him. I want him to be free, being asked to testify, which totally destroys everything. Suzanne Yoke, let's get this party started. Yes. Suzanne Yoke, let's get this party started. Yes. Absolutely. So there's 200 people now, and I think, you know, I did like a live stream too close to the last live stream, so nobody got like, but Suzanne Yoke, thank you so very much. I will probably hit 400 or 500 this live stream. But I mean, it's just amazing. It is just amazing when you think about it. Like, when you think about all of this insanity, Goodlatte could issue the orders as early as this week as part of his panel's joint investigation with House Oversight and Government Reform Committee, which is examining FBI. And you rest assured, they're going to be like, withdraw it, withdraw it. Like the Democrats will defend. Oh my God, they'll defend Peter Strzok. They'll defend Rod Rosenstein. They'll defend, because they have to defend the corruption. So they will do everything possible. And can you imagine Louis Gohmert? Oh my God. He doesn't have as much to work with in terms of outrage, because this is just a couple who just happened to work for, essentially become an arm of the Clinton campaign. Court seals portion of Mueller team's discussion relevant to ongoing investigation. Yeah, right. Almost certainly talking about how they're going to try to hurt Trump. But Suzanne Yoke, thank you. So it's happening, ladies and gentlemen. So, okay, so Goodlatte could issue the order as early this week as part of his panel's joint investigation with the House Oversight and Government Reform Committee, which is examining FBI and DOJ decision-making during the 2016 presidential election. Then you have just yesterday a giant 757 jet. Like you couldn't do it by, I don't know, by truck or you had to have a jet. This gigantic jet flies from the DOJ. Oh my God, to Little Rock. And they're like, nothing unusual. This is like a, congressional UPS. It's going down, ladies and gentlemen. When Clinton gets charged eventually, Hillary gets charged. Hillary Clinton, I predict probably a 4,000 person live stream. Because I hit almost 2,000 people with the IG report on one of the live streams. So I think 4,000. It'll probably be 4,000 people. It'll be fun. It'll be fun. It'll be awesome. It'll be awesome. Justice Department spokeswoman confirmed to The Hill that Goodlatte has been in touch with DOJ about seeking testimonies from these officials. Goodlatte could issue the orders as early as this week as part of his panel's joint investigation with the House Oversight Government Reform Committee, which is examining decision-making during the 2016 presidential election. Don't you love also, I love like the tepid nature of everything. We're just investigating decision-making. Oh, you mean the cover-up? You mean the Clinton email cover-up, where they just covered up everything? You know? It's interesting also because all of this is taking place, and as it's taking place, like we're talking about it, and we've been talking about it, but the media does not care, nor does the media want to acknowledge. It's really interesting also. It's like, it's interesting because it's like this, how long does it take a boa constrictor to eat something? This is how long, like, okay, so let's just, of course, my bizarre mentality on things. So how long a boa constrictor, how long does it take to wrap around? Boa constrictor. How long does it take? Like, people have actually died from owning boa constrictors. They just like wrap around their owner. Happened happened one time recently. How long does it take to eat? So like Trump is like this giant boa constrictor regarding all of this. So my God, they lived 20 to 30 years. Wow. I didn't know that. Elizabeth Luker. HJ, hope you're doing well. Just got home. So looking forward to a great show. Elizabeth, we are talking about Bruce and Nellie Ohr getting subpoenaed. Elizabeth, they're going to go ahead and Bob Goodlatte is going to issue a subpoena to speak about the Steele Dossier and when did Rod Rosenstein know? When did Peter Strzok know? When did James Comey know? Why did Bruce Ohr even give this information? Why did Bruce Ohr even become a part of this? Was it his wife? This is not national security. This is nothing to do with this has nothing to do. And yet, Elizabeth, they're going to subpoena and get answers to all these questions. But right now, Trump is like a boa constrictor, and I just want to find out, how long does it take boa constrictors to eat? As they slowly slither, slowly around. So like he's like slowly just wrapping himself around the media and Bruce and Nellie Ohr and Chris and James Comey. And James Comey is like a giant reptile in his own right, but he doesn't. Slowly around Andrew McCabe and Peter Strzok and Lisa Page, all slowly around Fusion GPS, Christopher, slowly around the Democratic Party, slowly around all midterms. They're going to get, just demolished. But it's interesting. Now I'm looking up because I was thinking about like boa constrictors. My buddy had one growing up, and I saw like him feed a little mouse to the boa constrictor, or to the. It was kind of sad, but they have to eat, How long does it take to eat? Boa constrictor feeding guide. That's good. Boa constrictor feeding guide. Really? The Urban Python recommends feeding juvenile boa constrictors once per week? What? And adults once every 10 to 14 days. That's interesting. Thaw frozen rodents in a zip-top bag submerged in... Oh, my God. Frozen rodents. Never hand feed your boa constrictor. Oh, my God. That's awesome. I'm going to put that on Twitter. Never hand feed your boa constrictor. As your snake could learn to associate your hand with food, leading to injury. That is a tool for life. Never hand feed your boa constrictor. Okay, so I'm sorry. I know that you're probably like, why are you even talking about this? The size of the food should be proportional to the size of the snake. Choose a rodent that is approximately the same size as the snake. Baby boas typically begin with pinky mice, which are babies. Oh, my God. All right, this is kind of sad. It shouldn't be sad, but it is what it is. All right, so why am I doing this? Who knows? Never. Wowzers. So, okay, so they're going to all get Gomerized. And the issue with Steele is, why did Bruce Ohr even become a part of this? Why does a DOJ official? It's because you see, it's the FBI's. If the FBI worked with Steele, then why is a DOJ official a part of this? So we thought that DOJ was separate. So we already had issues with Loretta Lynch. We already had DOJ contacts meeting up with Clinton operatives or Brian Fallon, tipping off Clinton officials left and right. Yet Peter Katzik, I believe, at DOJ, having lunch with Podesta. They knew each other from for decades. You had all of this. It's basically this giant networking club where they all hung out with each other. And now you have this issue. Simpson hired. Okay, so Bruce Ohr has come under Republican scrutiny for his contacts with Simpson and a former British spy, Christopher Steele, during the presidential campaign. Here is the article again, ladies and gentlemen. Here is the Hill article. So and so you have, I mean, this is Ohr's wife worked for Fusion GPS during the 2016 election. But why was it before the election? What about so Simpson hired Steele to help compile the controversial Steele dossier that made a series of salacious allegations. Where is the flip side? That's what I want to know. Where is the flip side? Where's the flip side? Like, where is the dossier being used? Meanwhile, there's a fake dossier against Trump, and there's like a 757. There's a 757 just with like loads of documents from Little Rock, Arkansas, from the DOJ. Representative Jim Jordan, when asked about the matter, broadly replied that Congress needs to be talking to Bruce and Nellie Ohr. Jordan said it was crazy that federal officials would have contacts with individuals working at an opposition research firm that was digging up dirt on Republican presidential candidate. He's right. He's right. And Jennifer Rubin today at the Washington Post was like, oh my God, there's a tape of Devin Nunes, and he's saying that he's going to protect Trump. Yeah, they have to protect Trump. I'm all for protecting Trump from a witch hunt, which is the definition of witch hunt. Like, from an investigation into nothing. Like, the bridge to nowhere? This is the investigation started by nothing. This is how it works, ladies and gentlemen. They start an investigation based on gossip, then utilize just suspicion, pure just suspicion, utilize that to then foster more questions. And the original sin is a Steele dossier, which is gossip, and a drunken conversation, which is gossip, and a moderate to high confidence assessment by the intelligence community, the FBI, CIA, and NSA. Meanwhile, James Clapper is like, there's no evidence of Trump-Russia collusion. We have no evidence of Trump-Russia collusion. The FBI continued to view Steele as a reliable source even after they stopped using him as a source. Reliable even after they stopped using him as a source. People need to pay close attention to this. So it's like, at the end of the day, it's this is interesting. Fun fact, if a constrictor wraps itself around, so Chip Johnson, thank you, on Twitter. If a constrictor wraps itself around your arm and starts trying to eat your finger first, you could fill up a sink with water and put its head underwater until it lets go. Wow. That's scary. Could you imagine? This is nuts. Why hasn't John McCain why hasn't John McCain retired? Is he even still alive? Patricia Marino, he's still alive. I think it's just to ensure that Trump doesn't. It's just not to help Trump, and also like not to concede power to anyone he doesn't want to concede power to. So I mean, he's spent his entire life, in a position of power, so he just doesn't want to, It's just nuts. All of this is just nuts. So let's go ahead really quickly. 360 people watching. Thank you so very, very much for watching. I want to go ahead, and this is why it's really important. And this is a really, really interesting article from Vanity Fair that I'm going to read you. So what they really should do, what Nunes and everyone else should do, is that they probably have more information than what's on here, but Trump should tweet out this article, how ex-Christopher Steele compiled his explosive dossier. So Trump should just simply tweet out this article. Here's the article. It's probably one of the most important articles written to debunk the whole Trump-Russia thing, even though that's not what it was intended to do. It's a very well-written article. And what it does is kind of vindicates everything that you and I have been talking about, and actually vindicates Trump, because it talks about how Russian sources were utilized by Clinton to spy on Trump and to, for the Steele dossier. So I'll read you. So Source A used a senior Russian foreign ministry official. So Source A. Source B, a former top Source B, a former top-level intelligence officer still active at the Kremlin. So if you're going to take this seriously, it's literally, she's working literally with Putin, still active at the Kremlin. Still active at the Kremlin. So it's really funny too. Like so Clinton literally was working. If you want to talk about collusion, Source B was a top-level intelligence officer still active in the Kremlin. This was in the dossier that Bruce Ohr became a middleman to go ahead as a go-between between Fusion GPS and James Comey and Peter Strzok and all of them. So Bruce Ohr should have nothing to do with this, absolutely nothing to do with this. Nice. Idris Elba is next, hopefully the next James Bond. That would be awesome. That would be very, very awesome. He would make an excellent Bond. I think it would be the first black Bond. Amazing. I love Idris Elba. I think he's awesome. That would be awesome. Very, very cool. That would be very, very, very cool. I just saw that on Twitter. So I missed a super chat. Veteran Anarchy, thank you so much. Red Wave approaches. Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. So you have Source B, a former top-level intelligence officer still active at the Kremlin. So then you have Source A, . Where am I? This is crazy. Okay, hold on one second. All right, so source D. So no, source. Okay, so hold on. These are all the Russian sources. Source A, a senior Russian foreign ministry figure. Wow. So source A is a senior Russian military figure. And this is crazy because it's like, oh my God, Trump colluded with Russia. She paid for all of this. And you still have a guy who's active, an active intelligence officer in the Kremlin. Source B was an active intelligence officer in the Kremlin. Peter Strzok. Peter, thank you, Trump 5 for 5. Love you, HA. Thank you so very much. Peter, thank you so very, very much. Thank you so much. Yeah, Trump is just, he's like I call him the boa constrictor, the orange boa constrictor. It's unbelievable. They're getting wrapped around and like slowly going to get eaten by Trump. And they think that they're winning. They have no idea what's happening. They never do. They're always like, what? It's the Green Party, racist, bigots, Russians. What? How many excuses can you fit? It's the Green Party, Bernie, bro, bigot, Russians, supremacists, enablers, sympathizers. Wait, can you fit anything else in there? Honestly, can you just try? Maybe, Decepticons, Skeletor. What else? What else can you fit in there? Peter Strzok, thank you so very much. Thank you, Peter. So source A, senior Russian military figure. Source B. See, these are all the sources that were paid for. Like, so the Steele Dossier was compiled by Russian sources, not just Russian sources, like people still active as intelligence officials in the Kremlin, senior Russian ministry of figure. She paid for all of this. Clinton paid for all of this. Source E was an ethnic Russian, close associate of Republican, President Donald Trump. Okay. Source D was a close associate of Trump, apparently, who managed his recent trip to Moscow. Source F is a female staffer at the Moscow Ritz-Carlton. So mainly they're just people that say they know him. And how did they vet these people? How about they didn't at all? Then the Russian regime had been behind the recent leaks of embarrassing email messages. Had been behind the recent leaks. Well, what'd they do? Did they hack the DNC? But and also, like, they already got uranium, so it's like, Peter, thank you so very much, Peter. Thank you. So, I mean, this Vanity Fair article is one of the most important. Oh, then the golden shower story. Where's that? It's fantastic. Where's the golden shower story? And so Steele threw himself into his new, he can count on an army. And so as Steele threw himself into his new mission, he can count on an army of sources whose loyalty and information had been bought and paid for over the years. So they're all lying to get paid. I mean, how hard is that? Britton Johnson. Hey, HA, thrilled to give you more support. Thank you, Britton. Thank you so much. I may recommend listening to Ben. I love Dan Bongino. Yes, podcast today. It's eye-opening. It may implicate Steele with Assange of all people. Crazy stuff. Thank you for all you do. Thank you, Britton Johnson. Thank you. Thank you. Appreciate that. I think I can't imagine Assange doing anything other than the most noble endeavor, simply because his value system is pure truth. Like he does. There is no, even though Democrats are like, you help Trump. It's like, no, it was actually just it was actually just because you're so corrupt and everyone hates you and you cheat all the time and still lose. But you roll with that, Democrats. Brenton Johnson, I will check it out. Dan Bongino, I like Dan Bongino a lot. I think he's awesome. Peter Strzok, thank you. Brenton Johnson, thank you so much. Thank you. William Berktold, thank you. Your channel is one of my favorites for real analysis. Glad I finally caught you live. Thanks for all your content. Thank you, William. Thank you very much, William. Greatly, greatly appreciated. Greatly appreciated. And it's happening. I mean, it is really happening, ladies and gentlemen. Now you have the ability, which is hilarious. And I can only imagine the Democrats, like, you know, Nadler from New York is like, point of order. Decepticons, Rainbow Bright, and Teddy Ruxpin. This is all, and Bob Goodluck's like, what are you talking about? This is, no. Point of order. The Raiders put Marcus Allen at fullback when they were utilizing Bo Jackson in the backfield. That is a fact. Point of order. Like, no, what is this? You're out of your mind, Nadler. No more, Nadler. No more. And they're just going to obstruct and withdraw it and do whatever they can. And meanwhile, the best part of everything is that Bruce Ohr and Nellie Ohr are going to spill the beans. And state your point. Exactly. Are you taking him? All right, let's listen to this. William Berktold, thank you. Thank you, William. Thank you, William. Thank you, Britton. And thank you, Peter. So this is a great article on basically all the crazy, Russian intelligence and military that Christopher Steele used before and gave to Clinton because he was paid. So tell me again, Democrats, how Trump's the only link between Trump-Russia collusion, I got to write this on Twitter, is actually the link created by Clinton. They're like, oh, he colluded with Russia. Yeah, within the links created by people that you purchased or that you outsourced, you gave money to. Gomer versus Strucky Poo. Strucky Poo. So we have to go through. This is the best. This is so awesome. Of course, it takes a million years.
And from the private unauthorized server that you were supposed to be investigating. Now, do you remember it?
I remember meeting Mr. Rucker on either one or two occasions. I do not remember the specific content or discussions.
Well, I'll help you with that too then. Mr. Rucker reported.
Interesting. So and I have a buddy of mine who is like, oh yeah, does he still deserve the Nobel Peace Prize? And I'm like, well, détente is good. And any other president, I mean, to do what Trump did in terms of foreign policy, pretty awesome. To go ahead and have North Korea no longer overtly threatening war, to have North Korea, Kim Jong-un, meet with Moon Jae-in of South Korea, pretty amazing thing. So you have the start of something. Was it always going to be instant peace? No. No. No, but so it's like, let's just listen. So anyway, it's like, what about this? Same thing with like people before the meeting are like, the meeting's called off, HA. Are you going to say you were wrong now? And like, And it's like, no, the meeting will be called back on. So like so many people were like on my like Twitter feed, like, yeah, you said a meeting, Trump failed again. Then the meeting took place and it was like, no big deal at all. So stupid. So no big deal at all. And I'm like, okay, but the meeting took place and it was pretty amazing. You said you were happy that you were saying that he was a failure for not having the meeting. Well, the meeting's stupid anyway. You know, Kim Jong-un, really nothing's going to change. Then it's like, look, there's a start of peace. Well, it doesn't mean anything. Then there's like, you know, some roadblocks, you know, North Korea is not, I mean, obviously it's not going to be like a straight line to peace. And then of course the naysayers again. And it's unbelievable lately. Like, it's just unbelievable. Like, Trump doesn't lose. Like, every single thing he's like winning on. It's unbelievable.
To those of you, the four of you there, in the presence of the IG attorney, that they had found this anomaly on Hillary Clinton's emails going through a private server. And when they had done the forensic analysis, they found that her emails, every single one except for 4, over 30,000 of them, were going to an address that was not on the distribution list. It was a compartment.
And you see Peter Strzok, whenever he's lying, he has the most like maniacal look. And he's like this. He's like, how do I even look when I do that? He's like this. He's like, hold on, let me see. He's like this. Like that. That looks scary, but Strzok is even worse. Because he knows what Gomer's talking about, but he doesn't care.
Bit of information that was sending it to an unauthorized source. Do you recall that?
Sir, I don't.
Well, he went on to explain it, and you didn't say anything.
No.
You thanked him, you shook his hand, but the problem was that it was going to an unauthorized source that was a foreign entity unrelated to Russia. And from what you said here, you did nothing more than nod and shake the man's hand when you didn't seem to be all that concerned about our national integrity of our election when it was involving Hillary Clinton. So the forensic examination was done by the ICIG, and they can document that. But you were given that information and you did nothing with it. And one of the things I found most egregious.
So all her emails were hacked and sent to a foreign entity, not Russia. And Strzok, who was leading the whole thing, didn't do anything. So, and then but we have Bruce Ohr pitching the Steele Dossier. And it's just unbelievable. And now they're testifying, but it all gets back to the Gomerization.
Egregious with Mr. Horowitz's testimony. And by the way, Horowitz got a call 4 times by someone wanting to brief him, leaving messages telling him about this, and he never returned the call. He had 500 pages of bias that he gave us, and then he threw a bone to the Democrats and said, but we can't find bias. And let me tell you, when you have text messages, Mr. Strzok, the way you do, saying the things you did, you'd been better off coming in here and say, look, that was my bias. And you kind of get around to that a little bit when you say, hey, everybody's got political views. Those are called biases, and we all have them.
The best part of all of it is when Strzok's like, I can assure you. Well, Sessions is an interesting one. Sessions, we'll get to Sessions. I mean, Sessions, like, he has already stated the Clinton Foundation is a scam on CNN. But the really interesting part of all of this is that we already know, like I say, we already know. And of course, as Gomer's speaking, you see Nadler like protesting and you don't hear it, but he's just constantly talking to Goodlatte. Because the Democrats don't want, like, they're going to go ahead and they're going to defend Bruce and Nellie Ohr. Everyone who's part of the cover-up and part of the fabrication, they're going to defend. They don't want these people to speak. Because if they speak, they're going to be like, yeah, well, we used the dossier. Okay, where's the evidence? Well, the NSA is moderately confident. Yeah, and did the DNC give its servers? No. So where's the evidence of anything? Cooper sees truth. Point of order, Mr. Chairman. What is the point of order? And can I continuously say it over and over again to blatantly disrupt and obstruct this hearing? Exactly. Exactly. It's point of order. Point of order. Point of order. Exactly. Cooper sees truth. Thank you so much. Thank you, Cooper sees truth. And then like they make things up also. Like there's one time, I think it's on here too. Like he literally just made it's like point of order. And Bob Goodluck's like, yes. What now? He's like, oh, he's like, oh, and he's like thinking, it's hilarious. It's hilarious. Cooper sees truth. Thank you so very much. Point of order, point of order, point of order. Okay, hold on. This is going to get good.
And you have come in here and said, I had no bias. And you do it with a strong...
By the way, every night before I go to bed, I listen to this. And I just have sweet dreams. I just have the sweetest dreams. I was like, you listen to Gomer every night. Listen, and then you just get Gomerized and you wake up refreshed.
Straight face, and I watched you in the private testimony you gave, and I told some of the other guys, he is really good. He's lying. He knows. We know he's lying, and he could probably pass polygraph.
Huh?
It's amazing.
Mr. Chairman.
No, this is my
Mr.
time.
Chairman, I'm sorry.
Point of order.
Withdraw it.
This point of order.
No.
The gentleman will state his point of order.
A member of this committee just asserted that this witness, who is under oath and a former agent of the FBI, lied. There's
a former agent lied. Can you imagine Peter Strzok lying? He didn't lie about anything. When he said that we'll stop Trump, he meant the good people of the planet. He meant the good people who were being protected by the Space Force that will eventually be in space. He meant the people, the electorate. He did not mean the FBI fabricating Trump, Russia, and covering up for Clinton's crimes. And then writing a Steele letter only because they found classified information on Anthony Weiner's laptop as he took pictures of his wiener.
no evidence that I asked him to withdraw it.
I do not withdraw it. He is not a member of Congress. It's not about...
You know that Gomer knows every rule? Everyone, like most of the people here, they're like, I know some of the rules. I know maybe 70% of the rules. Gomer knows every rule, every rule. He even goes to Goodlatte, like, that's a new one, whatever. And like, Gomer's like, no, you can't. You know, Gomer's obviously on Goodlatte's side, and Goodlatte's like, no, you can. He's like, oh, what are you even talking? That's a new rule. Here, you'll see. It's funny.
Violation of the rule, and just as you have been expressing bias through your members about what a hero
There's not a single person on this committee who has ever characterized a witness
Gentleman from Rhode Island. Gentleman from
my time.
That's a
Gentleman from Rhode Island will suspend.
No, the disgrace, what this man has done.
The gentleman from Texas will suspend for a moment.
There is the disgrace. And it won't be recaptured anytime soon because of the damage you've done to the justice system. And I've talked to FBI agents around the country. You've embarrassed them. You've embarrassed yourself. And I can't help but wonder when I see you looking there with a little smirk, how many times did you look so innocent into your wife's eye and lie to her about Lisa?
Mr. Chairman.
Oh!
Please, have you know, Chairman, this is intolerable harassment.
What's wrong with that? You need your medication.
The gentleman controls the time.
Oh, needless to
And I've talked to FBI agents around the country. You've embarrassed them. You've embarrassed yourself. And I can't help but wonder when I see you looking there with a little... How many times did you look so innocent into your wife's eye and lie to her about
Mr. Chairman, this is outrageous.
Yeah.
Shame always against you.
Mr. Chairman, please,
You know, Chairman, this is intolerable harassment.
what's wrong with that? You need your medication.
The gentleman controls the time.
I ask that the witness be permitted to respond.
Well,
It will be permissible, sir.
It will be permitted.
Did you ever talk to Hillary Clinton during your investigation besides the one?
And he's like, you didn't get a reach. You didn't get a thank you.
Chairman.
Hold on. Oh, man, I missed it. Let's just try it again.
Because of the damage you've done to the justice system. And I've talked to FBI agents around the country. You've embarrassed them. You've embarrassed yourself. And I can't help but wonder when I see you looking there with a little smirk, how many times did you look so innocent into your wife's eye and lie to her about
Mr. Chairman, this is outrageous.
credibility of a witness? Always against you.
Mr. Chairman, please,
You know, Chairman, this is intolerable harassment.
what's wrong with that? You need your medication.
The gentleman controls the time.
I ask that the witness be permitted to respond.
Well,
It will be permissible, sir.
It will be permitted.
Did you
to
ever
respond. The
talk to
gentleman
Hillary
controls time.
Clinton during your investigation besides the one questioning you mentioned? Before that or after that to this day?
Point of order, Mr. Chairman.
He's making
Point of order, Mr. Chairman.
so Nadler does not know what to say. He's making everything up.
The gentleman will state his point of order. It is
He's just making it up. He's making it up. And you could see like some of the congressmen when he was like, you looked into your wife's eyes. And then some of the Democratic congressmen were like, I'm not going to talk about that one. But he's making it up.
I think, against the rules of the House, for a member of the committee to be impugning the character of a witness. He should ask questions to elicit.
You don't want to impugn the character. You don't want to impugn the character. Even though he's basically documented real time the actual fabrication of everything. Along with the Steele Dossier, along with the DOJ Bruce Ohr, along with all this insanity and nonsense, so stupid. Meanwhile, there's like a 757, a fleet, Space Force is coming down. You'll see tomorrow. Like the other day, there was a 757. It'll be the first Space Force. I think it comes from space to just bring all the Clinton Foundation documents. They need giant ships to put like all the Clinton Foundation crimes. Meanwhile, they're worried about Strzok.
The purpose of this hearing is to elicit information. You should ask questions to elicit information. You should not be impugning the character of the witness. The gentleman is advised the rules of the House only are directed to members of the House and the President of the United States. In other words, it is okay to impugn the character of witnesses in any way. What?
You know he's pissed when he's answering the question. The rebuttal is a question. What does the Nunes secret recording mean? And they recorded him, and he's like, "Oh, we have to protect Trump." I actually haven't heard the recording, but I can imagine we have to protect Trump from these rabid, frothing at the mouth Democrats. And the Democrats are like, "You see, our irrational hatred of Trump makes Devin Nunes want to protect him from us. Guilty." They're like, everything is just, that's basically Stokowski 01. That's basically what's taking place.
Whatsoever. Well, listen, I've heard many members on your side of the aisle impugn the character of somebody who is covered by the rules of the House. But the gentleman, the gentleman has 20 seconds left. The clock will be turned back on, and he can complete his time, and then the witness can respond.
So if you talk to Hillary Clinton, other than the time she was examined in front of the witnesses?
No.
So after throwing away what you have with all the bias you have, you've never even gotten a thank you.
The gentleman may respond.
And then now Gomer's like, I did not ask you. This was all an insult. You're supposed to sit there and not say anything. I've insulted you.
Sir, well, that's quite a set of statements.
Mr. Chairman, I did not finish with a question.
The gentleman,
there was no question asked.
Chairman, he's been given the opportunity to respond.
The gentleman will suspend. The time of the gentleman has expired, and as I've indicated,
the rules of our hearings are if there is a question asked during the time, the witness may respond to the question after the time.
The witness is going to be allowed to respond briefly.
That's a new rule.
That's a new rule. I love it. I love it. Exactly. You will speak when spoken to. So pretty much like, you know, Strzok got Gomered. And it's just it's just amazing. Like, by the way, everyone give a big thank you to Eric H526 for everything he does for this channel and for being so awesome. So thank you, Eric H526. Thank you, Eric H526. Thank you. So everyone give a big thank you and just want to give you a shout out, Eric H526. Thank you so very much. But, you know, I mean, it's interesting because, you know, at the end of the day, it's like, I can't explain it. We'll wrap this up in like 5 or 6 minutes or so. But like, it's like you now have a subpoena, and they're going to ask Bruce and Nellie Ohr the following questions. Why as a Obama DOJ official were you a part of gossip? Because the DNC and Hillary Clinton rebuttal is, well, it was an opposition research. Well, then why were you a part of opposition research? Well, because it was the start of an FBI investigation. Well, why did they use opposition research to start an FBI investigation? Well, you don't even know. It wasn't just that. It was also Alexander Dumbo Downer. Well, why did they use that? Why did they use that? Peter Strzok is saying, pretty much. Thank you, Peter. Thank you. And it's like, that's just hilarious too. Like when it all goes down and she does get indicted, it'll be so funny and be like, oh yeah, I remember that time when the 757 came and picked up tons of documents. Remember that? That was good times. Funny good times. You know, it's all like, it's all like, it's all so overt. Like we all know what's taking place. We all know what's taking place. And it's happening right before our eyes. And I gotta say, when this all goes down, Tom Fitton and Judicial Watch, I mean, they're absolutely amazing. Wow, this is amazing. By the way, I look forward to sharing my new AR and HA Second Amendment. So I got a Smith & Wesson AR. I have to go ahead and share that. It looks pretty awesome. Very affordable too. I mean, you know. Ladies and gentlemen, let's reconvene a little later. What can I tell you? It's happening. They're going to get subpoenaed, and it's on. What can I tell you? We're getting vindicated every day. Every day is like vindication. Every single day. Does it ever end? Does the winning stop? I don't think so. I don't think it stops. Thank you. Thank you, Deputy Dog. Thank you. I now have an AR and an AK. I think I'm going to do some segments with both of them and compare, you know, I can already tell you I've already shot both. And I can tell you that, well, obviously the AK has more kick and is heavier. And the AR is obviously a lot easier to shoot. Completely different, basically like a pickup truck. You're comparing a pickup truck to a nice Nissan. Both are nice cars, different purposes. Give me your thoughts below. Share this segment everywhere. Thank you so much. They are going to be subpoenaed. Subpoenaed. Thank you so much, everyone. See you this evening. Thank you to my super chat. Thank you so very much.